Here's a piece of me to chew on.
Hi everyone, I'm Peter Dolving. Welcome back to Peace of Mind. Over the last couple of episodes, we've been talking about psychology and we've been talking about meditation and some fundamental concepts around meditation, breathing, and basically focus. Over the weeks to come, there's going to be a few more kind of very practical episodes about how to go about meditating, how to go about these things as a beginner. So over the weekends to come here with Christmas and New Year's and everything, we think what we're gonna do now over the next one or two episodes is just basically talk about why we meditate. Why? So in the whole thing that is self-exploration, and I guess what Yogananda would call self-realization. Why do we want to do any of this? Well, it's pretty easy. It's a question of how you want your life to develop, how you want to be able to enjoy and feel good about what is in your life. So where does all this start? How do we start to get to know ourselves? This is what meditation is such a good tool for. What it does, it helps us to understand that moment between here and there. Okay, let me explain. I'll start by this. People think they think a lot of things, but most of the things we think, we don't think at all. We're actually just repeating or rehashing or re-examining information that have already passed through us. In order to make it through this, to be able to separate the nonsense, all the rehashing and all the reaffirmations and all the readdresses that we do, and to pick out what is really our hopes, our true desires, and our actual needs, takes a lot of work. This is what meditation is for. When we look at ourselves initially, most people think about identity. They identify with the things they identify with. They believe they are the things with which they identify. But what you are is not what you identify with. What you are is something else completely. The things we identify with are ideas, other people's ideas, fears, emotions, feelings, things, stuff. Anything that comes from outside of you. It can be anything from temperature to opinion. These are not really real. An opinion is not a fact. It is simply an evaluation of something. Someone has put a value to an entity, a concept, a reality, and said, I like it or I don't like it. It's not the truth. The truth is, in example, we're moving through space at 390 kilometers per second. A truth. You can like it or you can not like it, but the truth is the truth. So, to distinguish identity from ego, we need to look at the things that are outside and determine what correlates with what you want. Now, these are material or to some extent spiritual essences. These are things that you feel that they will somehow, magically or magically not, depending on how much thought you've put into it, determine the outcome of where you're going. Yourself and your ego are not the same things. Yourself is the true essence of you. Yourself is that which observes. Yourself is that which exists. It is just. It just is. So from this vantage point, try to understand what I've just said. We think what we think. But in fact, most of the things we think, we don't think. We just readdress them. So, look at self. What does self do? What is the point and meaning and direction of self? Self has needs. That's all self does. Self observes. That's all self does. Self is. That's all self is. So, to distinguish between these three, This is why we meditate. This is why we do psychotherapy. This is why we speak to one another without value. To begin with, for the next couple of weeks, I want to stretch out a kind of challenge to you, to at least, once for another, maybe a couple of hours or so, a week, or maybe once a day if you have the guts, to try to go for at least 1 hour of non-judgmentalism, of not judging but observing. Keep a pad, bring a little notebook, and every time you find yourself judging something, write it down, because it's good for you to see how much you actually judge and value. Well, that's it for this week. I guess take care. You're important. Like, share, and comment, and do write us. Any kind of feedback is very, very appreciated. So until then, take care, everyone. Alak Baba Sirishan Dirak. Peace.